And the reason why sometimes when I have these conversations, and obviously I want to talk about some things, or sometimes I want to find out, how some people are where they are. Because, sometimes people say your childhood shapes you. Sometimes people say when we go through certain things, it's because of, either our parents or what happened when we was growing up. You hear these things. Some people say the keyword trauma, all of these things. So that's why sometimes when I have these conversations, I like to understand or to get to know, like a person's, like family, their upbringing. Because for me, when I done some work on myself, I realized as well a lot of problems that I faced, in my 20s, like it had something to do with my childhood. Definitely, like I've got, like I used to have things are not perfect now, but I used to have, like, like obviously a bad relationship with my dad, my mom, all of these things. I got put into care as well, and yeah, so sometimes a lot of these things come from, like I said, like our childhood, and we just tried to work things out. What am I like this? What is this and that? Like, how was your relationship with your dad? Like, at the moment.
Um, my relationship with my dad was when I was still a young child. He will come to visit me once a week, and he will pick me up and take me to his parents' house in the countryside. Um, until one day the visit stopped, and he completely cut off. So if you ask me when was the last time I saw my dad,
Yeah, when was it?
I don't remember. I
Jeez.
was a young child.
Yeah. And how does that because for me I'll be honest with you, I wish till this day, I wish I had a better relationship with my dad and my mom, because I feel like before I used to say, who cares, forget it. But the older I get, I wish I had maybe not perfect relationship with both parents, but I wish I had some sort of relationship with my parents where we can be on the same level, where we can speak about certain things, and I can feel, the love from my mom and my dad. Because even now, even though I've got, like I said, even though like things are okay now with my mom and my dad, but still I feel like there's like, maybe some people might call it a spiritual barrier, or that connection. I still feel like there's that barrier between me and my mom and my dad, where I feel like it's like we just tolerating, the word tolerating someone. I feel like we're just tolerating each other
Mm,
rather than just
mm,
having an actual relationship, and
mm.
like loving each other the way it was meant to love each other, like son and mom and dad. So that's what I asked. So for you, like, when you're going through your journey, like, does this bother you, or you've got over it, in terms of like, my dad, has never really been in my life, and I'm okay with it now? Or even as a woman, like, sometimes do you still feel like you would like to have some type of relationship with your mom? I mean, with your dad.
Hmm. Yes and no. I've had moments where I felt like, yeah, I wanna find him and beat the shit out of him because he left me. You know, how can he do that? Who does he think he is? How can he just, you know, create another life and then just abandon it? You know, um, but on the other side, I think, well, if he stayed, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Interesting.
You know, I wouldn't be who I am today
Yeah.
if he stayed. I probably would have been a completely different person. And
So quickly,
I
with that said, sorry to cut you, darling. Yeah. So quickly, when you say that, do you believe everything happens for a reason then? The good, the
yes,
bad,
absolutely.
regardless of how we might look at things and situations and circumstances. Yeah, do you honestly
Sorry, just
believe?
need a second
No,
because
no, go on.
my nose is leaking again.
Oh, good. This
Where did
is.
I put my tissue? Okay. Oh, this is happening. Okay. So you were saying,
Yeah. Yeah,
do
do
I
you.
believe that everything happens for a
For
reason?
a reason, yeah.
Absolutely.
The good and the bad, regardless of how we might look at the situation and what happened. Yeah. So you believe that everything happens for a reason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that our soul chooses the experiences that we're having on this in this life in this reality. Our soul has chosen to experience that,
That's
and we're
interesting.
just the more we're questioning, oh, why is this happening to me, and I don't want this or I don't want that, the more we're resisting our own growth that our soul has chosen to do here on this planet.
That's one of the most interesting things I've heard today. When, because
Is it
sometimes,
really?
absolutely, because in terms of like what you just said is very, very deep because, like you said, not everybody might not understand or believe what you mean, but you saying our souls choose, like you said, the life that we're living at the moment, the good and the bad, like
Yeah.
the reason why I said is one of the most like interesting things that I've heard today. It's just simply because, like, once again for me, I'm going when I'm going through my own journey, trying to get answers. Why is this? Why is that? Why was I addicted to this and that? Sometimes I think to myself, how can like I'm looking for my purpose. What is my purpose on this planet? Why am I going through this life? Going through these things. What is my purpose? Like that's why when I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm thinking like, how does a person get to that point to understand that cool, my soul has chosen this life, but at the same time, this is for a reason. I'm living this life for a reason, and this is my purpose. If you get what I'm trying to say, because I think a lot of people are still asking themselves that question. Why am I going through this? Why is this? Even if my
But
soul, if you know what I mean, even if my soul chose for me to experience this, this life in the physical realm, like why, and that's one of the questions I'm always asking myself as well.
okay.
Sometimes, like, why? Like, it is all. Even the conclusion sometimes I come up to is
Okay.
if this was meant to be part of the journey, or like if my soul chose for me to experience this life,
Yeah.
can I get some, at least, I don't know, can I get some a sign, if what I'm doing is
You
the right,
can.
you know what I mean, if
You
what I'm
can.
doing is the right thing, a little bit of guidance or something. Because sometimes, overall, to conclude what I'm trying to say, overall I feel like sometimes some of us, we go through life and sometimes we get lost, you know we get lost in terms of like this fucking reality, excuse my French, this reality of all of these things going on, and we get lost and we just try to find ourselves, like, what are we here, what am I
Yeah.
doing? Like, what is my purpose on this earth? Like,
Yeah.
is this all? Because even the last thing I'm gonna say is sometimes I ask myself, like, really, God? I said to myself sometimes in my head, like, God, really? Is this all? It's like sometimes I try to look at it like maybe my life is a movie, and everything, every day, every second, every minute, everything that I'm going through is all part of this movie. But overall, like, hopefully by the end of this movie,
Yeah.
I would have figured out all of these things. I would have got all of these answers that I'm looking for. So yeah, like, going back to what you said,
Yeah.
like
So when you're
you're
in
so
this
true.
movie that is your life,
Yeah.
you have to pay attention. You have to be present.
Mm.
And to get answers to these questions, why am I here? Why is this happening? Why is this? Why is that? Then are you actually paying attention to what is going on? Are you present with every moment?
Mm.
So you have to pay attention to your patterns. What are the patterns that are going on in your life? What are the themes that you're going through repeatedly over and over and over? Because this is how, one of the ways that the universe communicates with us, or this is how you're being guided. If there's something that you're not paying attention to, it keeps getting louder and louder and louder. You know, so just to give you an example, there was a point in my life where I started to lose my health, and I started this journey of, okay, how do I get healthier? And as I went on this journey, I started to do a lot of things like diet, exercise, sleep. I was a smoker. I quit smoking, and I quit drinking. I stopped drinking alcohol. I was doing this, I was doing that. But yet, for some reason, the issues continued, and no doctor could tell me what the hell was going on with me. Why am I having these symptoms? Why am I experiencing this health condition? And a lot of times I would just get, well, you just need to take this pill and it will be okay. But for me, it wasn't good enough. No, I don't want to take a pill. I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to know what's causing it so I can break the pattern. And what I found out in the end was that, well, I wasn't allowing myself to be who I am. I wasn't allowing myself to fully express my creativity, what is inside of me. I was forcing myself to do a job that I was not only not interested in, but a job that was causing me so much stress that this stress was then affecting my health, just so that I can pay my bills.
And now?
So, well, now I left.
How-
I left the job.
How long ago did you leave your job?
It was maybe about a month ago when I left. I one day I reached a breaking point and I decided, that's it, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have any like savings or anything. I didn't have anything else lined up. I just decided to leave, and I thought, oh, I can just go traveling. I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills, but there are these places where you can go and do work in exchange for accommodation and food. So I'm just gonna go for that.
And
that was it. I left the job. It took me, I had to go through a lot, and to get to this point, you know, I knew it was coming. I knew I had to go through it because I kept seeing these people and admiring them on social media, like people who are like living their purpose and being of service to other people, and listening to their stories. They've gone through these like difficult times where they've struggled, and then I could feel that this was coming for me as well. But I didn't want to go through it. I said, okay, I'm gonna work something out. I'm gonna make up a plan so I can have like a smooth transition. But then one day I reached my breaking point and I was like, okay, fuck this shit. I'm leaving. So I left. And now I'm just observing how my body, my nervous system are recalibrating themselves, like having a reset. And starting to feel better within myself, more calm, more centered. I had some chronic pain, which is gone now.
That's good, by the way. That's good.
And my, yeah,
Do you
my skin is improving as well. Even
it's glowing, looking nice.
Thank you. Just
Nice.
from leaving that job.
I guess you definitely made the right decision to leave that job, because
I know I have.
that's definitely.
And I have, because I reached a point where I said there is no amount of money that will keep me in a place where I'm forcing myself to do something that I don't want. Not only that, but it was a job where people were being treated like garbage. And it wasn't just me, it was everybody. It was everybody.
Everybody?
Yes. It was everybody.
Jeez.
And it kept getting worse and worse and worse. Until one day I said, no more. No more.
In order for you to basically move on through life, you know, sometimes some people say, like, if you want to move on to that next phase of your life, you need to get rid of the old version of yourself. Do you think that's true? Some people call
Absolutely.
it killing your old version, whatever. A lot of people got these different names. But yeah, do you believe that, yeah, before moving on to that next process, yeah, do you believe you definitely have to kill or to get rid of your old version of yourself?
I mean, death is an inevitable part of life. So, in order for new life to start, death has to occur. You know, in order for a mushroom to grow, that tree needs to die first to provide the necessary nutrients for the mushroom to grow. You know? Yes, so yes, 100%. It's necessary for you to lose some part of yourself, or you might even lose certain people, certain connections that are around you, in order for you to develop into the future version of yourself, the higher version of yourself.
Some people don't understand that concept, and I feel like this is why.
Right. Okay.
Some people, you know, sometimes people say age is just a number. You know, some people they just growing old with age, but in terms of like learning certain lessons, some wisdoms to progress with their lives, they never move forward because they don't understand. They either don't understand the concept of like what we're talking about now. They don't understand that you need to get rid of the old version of yourself before you can move forward to that next phase of your life, or they just don't know how to do it.
A more sort of a real illustrate this in a more real way.
Yeah.
You know the great eagle.
Yeah.
The animal, everybody knows that. You know, the iconic bald eagle, of which is the symbol of the United States of America. Everybody knows that, right? Okay, so these eagles live a very long time for a bird. I think they live up to 60 years old. But when they get to the age of 30, their talons, they start to get like curved in, and they can no longer catch the prey as well as they did before. Their beak starts to get to like it's not as sharp, it's getting curved in. So when they reach this stage in their life, the eagle has to make a decision. So if they're no longer able to hunt and feed themselves as well as they used to, this could slowly lead to their death. So they can decide to slowly die at this point in their life if they want to. And the other option is to go through a very painful process of changing these their beak and their talons and their feathers over, so they can grow new ones and start a new life, right? So if the eagle makes the decision to start a new life, they will go to a place where they will land and they will be safe. And the first thing the eagle will do is smash their beak broken into a rock.
Into a rock?
Yeah, so he will just go and start smashing his beak into a rock, right? Break it, and then wait for a new one to grow. And then once the new beak grows, he starts to pluck his old talons out that he uses to catch prey. And when they regrow, he plucks his old feathers out. He literally shedding what is no longer serving him. And when his new feathers regrow, when his new beak, new talons, he takes his famous flight of rebirth. Okay. I hope that illustrates that for everybody.
You have explained that very perfectly. Yeah. Like, so.
And we do the same as in our
humans.
human experience, maybe not the same way.
Yeah.
But we do as well. So we also have this choice. Do you want to keep going with your old ways that will just leave you to a state of deterioration and death? Or do you want to get rid of the weight that you're carrying so that you can push yourself forward
into your new chapter?
Chapter.
You've explained that beautifully, and from one of the things that I took from that is basically some people, you know, when they say growing pains, you know, growth, when you're going through growth, some part of growth is going, you know, at some point when you're going through that, you know, that process, it's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, and sometimes it's going to be very painful. And I think sometimes, going back to what I said, age is just a number. Maybe sometimes also some people that, for whatever reason, they don't want to go through that pain, or they don't really have, I don't know, the drive or the dedication to keep on pushing through that process. What do you think it is?
Well, no, nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be in pain.
Yeah.
We don't like that, but it's necessary for our growth. Yeah, because you can't grow or change without being uncomfortable, without being in pain.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're uncomfortable for whatever reason, it's a good thing, because it's part of your growth. It means you're growing. It means you're evolving. If you're comfortable, you might be happy, you might be content, but
you're basically still in one place.
Maybe a little bit stagnant.
Yeah.